today that I wanted to speak about. And I want to go to Neeks first on this. This story came out a little while ago stating that Man United are expected to make an improved bid for Frankie de Jong. We're all waiting for this second bid. It's kind of been spoke about a lot that United are going to make it. But it said that it's going to fall short of the 70 million valuation, with United determined not to force to be sort of not being forced into overpaying for a player. What's your take on this story in the sense of, do you think it's right that Man United are trying to pay the right price? Or are you worried that we're just wasting time on this signing when we could be focusing elsewhere? Like, what's your take on it as a United fan?
In theory, I don't have an issue with it. As Man United fans, we complain that we overpay for players and undersell our own players. And then in the next breath, we complain that we're trying to negotiate a price down. We can't have it both ways. Now, a couple of summers ago, we obviously went to try to get Sancho. They wanted near enough 100 million. We didn't buy him, and a year later, we got him for 70 million or somewhere along those figures. Now, yes, if we had him for the year previously, maybe last season would have been better because he had a year of adjustment, X, Y, Z. But we praise other teams for either walking away from deals. Pep Guardiola walked away from the Harry Maguire deal because they didn't want to pay 80 million. They bought Ruben Diaz the next summer for 65. So we can't, in one breath, praise other teams for doing what we're then criticizing Man United for. And we're criticizing Man United because, yeah, we understand how bad we've been run. So every decision, whether it's to overpay or to walk away, gets criticized because we just don't trust the process. But to use that terrible phrase,
my eyebrows raised.
But we can't be in the same hypocritical to our own belief. We believe that the club should be driving down the price, then stick to it, regardless of who those are in charge. When it comes to Frankie de Jong, Barcelona need the money as it stands. Now things could change in terms of CVC deals and all that kind of those rights or whatever. And maybe if we put up 70 million 2 weeks ago, maybe he might have been here already. I don't know. He might still have to decide whether he wanted to join Man United or not. That was one of the bigger issues. But I don't have a problem with trying to negotiate a fee down, because there comes a point. I think I said this even last summer, maybe the summer before. There comes a point that we just need to draw a line in the sand and say we are not going to be taken for mugs in this market anymore. Man City don't get taken for mugs. Liverpool don't get taken for mugs. And even Real Madrid, as much as they pay that because that's what they want to pay, not because a team is overpaying. They say, we're going to pay Camavinga 30 million, Tchouameni 60, 70, 80 million or whatever. But they pay what they're willing to pay as opposed to where everyone else is beck and call. That can't continue anymore.
You don't with that. You don't see, like, if Liverpool have a target and find them out as price range, they just move on to another one. It's almost like United gets stuck on the names at times. So they'll see a big name central midfielder appear on the market, and the club are asking for 40 million. And then there's another midfielder who probably doesn't have the big name, doesn't have the shirt sale potential for 20, but would do just as good a job in that role with potential to grow and all that. But United have a very commercialised view, in my opinion, wrongly, because you should be focusing about what's on the football pitch first and then everything else will follow. But that's the way United are run. Frankie de Jong isn't that. Frankie de Jong will be a good pickup for you, especially under a manager who he played his best football under, and he'd almost be trying to probably find himself again, because I know he's done okay at Barca, but he hasn't hit where he wanted to hit. If he had, Barca wouldn't be selling him. So it should be interesting to work out. But United, I don't know how you're going to be not taken for mugs when you've got them owners who are focused on the shirt sales first.
So it's not just that. I mean, like, Man United have many problems they've got to try and sort out in this transfer window. So for me, you have to get your business done quick and effectively and efficiently. And I don't think you're doing it at the moment. So De Jong is one of them players that Ten Hag's worked with before, trusts him, knows him, how he wants to play and all that. I think it's one of them where, with certain players as well, who's got that potential, you have to spend a bit more on to then basically claw it back elsewhere. I don't think you can hang around on big name signings who want to come to Man United with all the problems you've had in recent seasons. I don't think you can wait too long to get deals like this done. I think you have to bite the bullet and go a little bit more early on to then recuperate later on in the
I
transfer
disagree.
market.
I disagree, man.
I don't think so.
One second, Daniel. I was going to say quick because the problem with that, Alan, is that if we spend, let's say we just 80 million De Jong take it 2 weeks ago, every other deal comes, they're going to put that premium on. So the deals that are not the marquee ones, Timber, they're going to put another 10 million. Oh, Man United splashing the cash this summer. They're not shy to pay, and that's the problem we've been in for the last 10 years. We get overcharged for everyone, whether or not they're good or bad.
Okay, so how much is he worth? How much is he worth, and how much are you putting forward? How much are they asking for?
Apparently, according to that tweet, 70 million.
So they're asking for 70 million, and how much are you willing? How much have you offered so far?
I'm not 100%
So
sure.
the bids that we're sort of talking, again, it varies upon the publication, but it's around we're about 10 million shy of their asking price.
Look at Liverpool. Look at Liverpool. Sorry, Daniel. Liverpool went and got Darwin Núñez, but in about a few days before when we thought the deal was agreed at 68 million, they did a bit of negotiation to get the initial fee down to 64. Now, at the time, in that 24-hour period, Liverpool felt, oh, why are you doing that? Just go and get it done. Liverpool have a reason why they said, well, we don't want to pay that amount up front. We're want to pay a bit less because that's just the way they did it. And it's like, as I said, it's about being hypocritical or not. You either want your club to be run that way or you don't. And if you don't, then cool. Don't complain when we are being charged and then that player doesn't live up to the price tag because he was never worth that in the first place. That's the way I see it.
think the reason why I disagree though is it's just a little bit of semantics and overcomplicating football for me. Like, I think there's some topics, and this being one of them, where, like, of course, there's a discussion and a debate to be had, but when you really get to the crux of what we're talking about, you want the best players that suit the manager that you currently have to ensure that you have success on the pitch, to then ultimately increase whatever you're trying to increase in terms of revenue and try to be the greatest and whatever. Like, for me, Frankie de Jong can even go to the last day of the season, as long as the last day of the transfer window. Sorry, as long as that is the player that Ten Hag has identified and said that he wants. And if you're struggling in terms of price, and you know that you can get it down, and you can wait for that to go down, then you could. I think you could, as long as you know you're going to get that player, then I think you can wait. I don't believe in this notion that, because obviously, fair enough. Look, 100% at Liverpool. Outstanding business the last couple of years in terms of the players that they've been able to bring in and how quickly they've been able to do a number of their business and how kind of quietly, like, suddenly they're interested in this player, they want him, they get him. But for me, like, not every club has the luxury to be able to do that. You see teams. Koundé is the perfect example, and just a little bit. Everyone's seen the story around that, but one of the biggest things is that Sevilla just know that Chelsea have more money, so they just really want to hold out for a higher fee because they know that they can, and they know that Chelsea might want to do that. Do you know what I mean? So not everyone has that same luxury.
I agree.